You're watching WSOW in HD with Dustin Lukey, Brittany Lake, and meteorologist Madeline Sky. This is Daybreak from La Crosse's own News 19.
Everything just is coming together for happenstance, serendipity.
A hidden gem more than a century in the making could finally have its moment in the sun. Good morning, everyone. It's 6:30. I'm Dustin Lukey.
And I'm Brittany Lake. Today marks a milestone anniversary for a Wisconsin legend. Born 150 years ago, Frank Lloyd Wright's legacy spans the globe with buildings like the Monona Terrace in Madison, Falling Water, and the Guggenheim Museum.
But it's a lesser-known building that now hits home for the famous architect and is ripe for a much-needed revival.
Times can harm.
The citizens really love to hate him.
Time can heal.
The light has gone on his art and his genius.
But one thing's for certain.
There's nothing like timing.
And the timing may be right for an American icon to finally come home. Frank Lloyd Wright, born June 8, 1867 in Richland Center, Wisconsin, would go on to create some of the most recognizable buildings in the world.
That's a trademark of Frank Lloyd Wright.
At the same time, his ornate personality would put him at odds with the blueprint for living in the turn of the 20th century Midwest.
Richland Center's relationship with Wright is pretty unique because of his lifestyle. A lot of people didn't really care for him.
Nor, it seems, did they care for his brick and concrete monolith, standing sentinel at the corner of Church and Hazeltine.
And there's a hole in the floor here, so be careful.
Commissioned by local businessman Albert Dell, or A.D. German, construction began in 1917 on the one-of-a-kind piece of Wright's portfolio.
This is the original freight elevator.
A warehouse.
It's heavy duty.
With space for shops, studios, and a restaurant.
Through 4 floors and goes all the way to the roof.
Intended to be a hub for both commerce and culture, built to stand the test of time.
Works like a dream, just like it always did.
But time is also money. Over 4 years of construction, the intricate detailing scaled up toward the sky, so too did the cost.
That's the primary reason that it's failed before.
As Margaret Scott put it in her 1984 book, like a never-changing shadow in the background was the threat of the money running out, a problem for both Mr. German, the owner, and for Mr. Wright, the designer and general overseer. The shadow darkened the dream in 1921 when construction was canceled. And it would continue to plague the A.D. German warehouse through the 100 years that followed.
Decade by decade.
It weathered the ages without a sealed roof, serving its original purpose as storage, at least to an extent.
Whenever it would rain, there would be standing water on every floor.
Clouds appeared to part in the 1970s when a Chicago architect bought the building with the goal of turning it into a museum.
And they ultimately failed because they couldn't generate enough capital to keep it going.
It then fell into the hands of another eclectic local, Harvey Glanzer, who had the means and money to make it happen, but failed to follow through with much more than a gift shop.
That's pretty much the story of the 1980s.
Fast forward to 2014.
Anyway.
The A.D. German Warehouse Conservancy, led by Lon Arbogast, takes custody of the Wright site that history forgot.
So come on in.
The difference this time,
knock on wood, if there is any,
has everything to do with timing.
Frank Lloyd Wright's fame isn't dissipating, it's probably growing.
Already having secured both a fundraising professional and architect of record,
we're on our way.
The Conservancy's launch of a $3 million capital campaign now shows a clear vision.
Everything just is coming together for happenstance, serendipity.
Coinciding with the newly commissioned Frank Lloyd Wright Trail, which puts the warehouse and the city on the map.
Creating Richland Center as a destination for heritage tourism.
Making Richland more than just a drive-through between Madison and La Crosse will take some time, but it's worthwhile, says Explore La Crosse's Brent Hannafel, who says for them, being on the Great River Road is a boost for business.
The average visitor takes from 4 to 10 days to travel the whole thing. So that's a lot of time that you could have someone stop in here, spend the night, visit local businesses.
So time will ultimately tell whether the A.D. German warehouse will become Richland Center's calling card.
We've got a lot of work ahead of us up here yet.
But for a building that's battled a century of setbacks and a sesquicentennial specter,
it's the right time, yeah.
Frank Lloyd Wright's diamond in the rough may finally be closer to its time to shine.
The Conservancy says the big advantage this time around is the internet age. Wright's appeal is reaching a new generation around the world, and they say about 3/4 of their visitors actually are from outside of the U.S.
Okay, and if you'd like to visit yourself, it's open for the season now. The A.D. German Warehouse, a little more than an hour's drive from La Crosse on Highway 14. A tour is $10 with the money going towards the management and revitalization effort. They're open from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. every Sunday and the first Saturday of each month at the same time.
Now, custom tours are available as well, and to get in touch or learn how you can help, click on the contact link at adgermanwarehouse.org, a link to which we'll also have on our website, wxow.com, where you can see some of that cool drone footage that we got of the warehouse.
Yeah, that was neat. It really gives it a
Neat
perspective.
Yeah, kind of, I think probably the first time it's been seen from that perspective, at least that close. if
That
you
makes
think about
sense.
it.
Yeah. You did a great job on that story.
Oh, thank you. I've been doing research. This is something else you can find at the gift shop mentioned there. It's Frank Lloyd Wright's Warehouse in Richland Center, the book I referenced. It's just a fantastic local history, talks about Wisconsin heritage and everything, and the gift shop's one of the few places you can pick that up.
Oh, okay.
Might be worth that if you're looking for a summer read.